Hello everyone, and welcome again to a lovely sensory walk. Today we are at Martineau Gardens, which is a therapeutic garden just quite close to Edgbaston Cricket Ground. It's just over the top there. I can just see the grounds there, just tucked away off the main road. It's a beautiful location. And just to show you briefly, we're going to be having a walk around. Oh, I'll hold it right up here. The garden, which the entrance is just over there. And let me introduce you, first of all, straight away, to our special guest today, Stewart, who I think will explain to you a little more about Martineau Garden and what it's all about.
Hi, good morning. I'm Stuart Holmes, and welcome to Martineau Gardens. Come and get a big green hug off us, because we're not just, it's a nice place to come and visit. We're not a massive site, but there's a lot of interesting stuff here.
Okay, and please also, if you're watching, if you have any questions, put them up. I will try and relay the questions across. Sometimes I miss them because I've got quite a small screen here, but I will try and ask you the questions as they come up. And thanks for the thumbs up as well, because also if there's sound problems, occasionally you've had sound problems.
Yeah.
So if you can't hear for any reason, please let us know, and we'll work something out. Okay. So this is the entrance to Martineau Garden.
Again, this was built by one of our volunteers. This was in his garden, and then he took it apart again and brought it here and built it here. I think he's done a wonderful job on it. Fantastic.
It is a lovely entrance to the garden. Do you want to say a little bit about what Martineau Garden is?
Martineau Garden has been here, well, I've been here 18 years now. So we do a lot of therapeutic work, do a lot of work with schools, refugees, anybody that wants to come and work and learn about horticulture or do a bit of therapy, we'll work with any groups. Yeah. And we've been, as I say, we've been here 20 years now, nearly enough.
20 years?
Yeah.
Right, and you run events as well, public events sometimes?
We run loads of public events. So there's children's theatre, there's the honey shows we've had here for a few years, and there's 2 open days, and there's always events that are arranged by other members of staff who do teaching here. So they have school parties where they involve the teacher and bring stuff in for education and have a, quite a nice kids party.
So a whole range of, if you're part of a community group out there that wants to visit, what would you do?
You just ring us up, tell us when you want to come and visit us, and I'll meet and greet you, take you around, show you what's here and show you what we've done in the past 20 years and talk about the garden itself and how it's good for therapy and why it's good for therapy, give you some of the science as well if you like.
I'll just let you know, actually, a couple of people have said hello already, as has I think Sarah there as well, and Vicky Hartland. Thank you everyone. Okay.
Now this is a lovely little bit. It's really gone wild here because we've been on furlough, but it's really nice. Because what I love is when the bees get in the poppies, they buzz pollinate. And it's like, when you put you get a comb and you put a piece of tracing paper and you're blowing it, and you get a lovely vibrating noise. It sounds just like that. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Can you do it now? Can you get
I can't get it. They're on there now, but it's too wet. It's when the petals are drier. You can actually hear it. This little low vibration. So as soon as you come into a place, your hearing and your sight has to reset itself because you're hearing all these different noises, and so it's really nice.
Yeah, and as we're moving away from the road, it's certainly you can hear the birds more, don't you? And I guess we'll put them silent. Just to show you through here, I can see some lovely native varieties of flowering this time of year. It's fantastic, isn't it?
We've got some really monster horseradish over there as well.
Oh, I'll just go over to the horseradish. There's the poppy. Beautiful poppies actually.
Might have to get them both, so I'll just try
and over the back there,
that is horseradish.
Globe artichokes, yes. And horseradish.
Foxgloves as well.
Foxglove at the back there, yes. We're going to be going down to a more wooded area later on, so we might see more plants like that being in the forest. Which way should we?
We can walk down this way. Yeah. We've got some unusual. This is a giant scabious. It's beautiful. And bees with this as well.
Yes, very important. The bees is something else we're going to be talking about at some point, I guess, as well.
And they always leave stuff up through winter for the birds. It might look untidy, but hey, we're not here for
when you
tidiness.
say the birds,
well, the birds get the seed. Yeah.
The birds get the seeds.
Yeah.
And we get the teasels.
And we get the teasels. Yeah.
I don't know whether you've used and crafted some things. I've certainly made
Well,
little mice and other things out of these.
Most of the weeds we have in this country came along with the Industrial Revolution, either for carding wool, brewing, medicine, dyeing. That's where they all came from.
Oh right, okay. I just scanning along here. I mean, these beans are so magnificent.
They're fantastic. Well, I'm not responsible. I can't take credit for all of this. This is Miranda's work. Yeah.
Yes. So there's a team of people working on Martineau.
Yeah.
Although you are therapeutic gardeners, it's not about therapy, is it? I guess. Or would you want to explain a little bit more?
You can't avoid the two. If you're a gardener, you can self-therapy. You're doing it yourself. Just being in nature, all the different shades of green reflect a different blue light back to your brain and your eyes, and it improves your serotonin, and it also improves your circadian rhythms, your sleep patterns. So some of it happens by accident, and some of it happens as you're working along.
Yeah.
So it's always therapy. And what we do here, it doesn't matter. You might not get everything done you want to, but that's not the point of it. The point is how we make people feel when they leave is a really important thing.
Yeah. Right. So just a quick scan along this at the allotment part, just to give people an idea of the sort of what happens to the food you grow, because you must grow quite a quantity.
We turn it into jams, or we give it to the volunteers, or we make things with it ourselves.
Yeah. Yes. So we're going to get a lot of courgettes, pumpkins, I guess, along here as well.
And they're used all the time. We do use them. We can sell them all day long. The squashes and pumpkins are gone straight away. And now we've got some guys coming from a restaurant in town, and I can't remember the name of it. And it would be so good if I did. And they're picking flowers and putting flowers in their cooking and stuff. They were collecting thyme flowers a few weeks ago to make a glaze for chicken.
Yeah. I guess you have a lot of connections with different charities and organisations locally.
Well, I've been here since I've been here a good 30 years now, and I've been homeless, so I know a lot of people, and because I've been doing this kind of work, you have to make connections with other organisations, and training that helped. A lot of the people I know from horticulture have gone into the same thing I'm doing, so it's connections and connections. Yeah.
Great. Oh, and peas just growing up there as well. What different colour peas?
And sweet peas.
Lovely. Sweet peas. Let's show people that. Nicely trained up on there as well. Beautiful. I can see the bees on there. I don't think you'll be able to see in the camera, but there's bees buzzing around those peas at the moment. And just to show you this as well, this is a
that's our plant sales area.
Do you want to say a little bit about this?
All the plants, again, are from the garden, and they're all raised by volunteers. They're all produced by volunteers. They're all looked after by volunteers. So we sell quite a lot of stuff here, and it's easy to maintain the stuff we sell. It's not rocket science. It's easy to grow. Yeah, which helps people and encourages people. You know, you don't want to start off doing really difficult things with volunteers and not being able to complete them. Just keep it simple.
Well, there's something fantastic about taking seeds or a twig or whatever and sticking it in the ground, and suddenly you've got a plant. I think this is
that's the thing with therapeutic horticulture. As you start to grow stuff, you start to grow yourself, because you're nurturing something, and then you suddenly have to nurture and water and feed yourself. If you don't water and feed yourself, you can't wash and feed something else. It's a really nice way of looking at things. We can walk down this way.
And oh, some peas a bit closer. I'll show people peas. Maybe I'll catch there's a moth there I missed, but no butterflies at the moment. But they will be there later on today as the sun comes out, won't they?
They certainly will. This tree is quite special. I was given this tree about 12 years ago, and it's a graft from the Glaston farm.
Well, I never. Wow.
So it's really, really cool. I was given it a fancy to it's come from Glastonbury, it's come from Glastonbury farm, planted in the garden, and man, it's just flourished. It really has.
So, in theory, this could be a couple of thousand years old.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And yeah, from Glastonbury. Yeah. There's a legend attached to it, isn't it?
It's Joseph of Arimathea apparently stuck a stick in the ground in Glastonbury, and from where the holy well was, and this grew.
Yes.
Yeah.
When Jesus was there as well.
Yeah,
I guess,
that's
as a little boy.
That's supposedly all. That's it.
That's the legend, isn't it?
Yeah.
And just while we're looking at the trees here, just the cherry.
It's cherry, yeah.
I'm guessing, like our cherry, the squirrels have had.
The
lot of
squirrels
these.
just have everything. So fast.
Yeah. Yes, it's good.
We cage the fruit that we want and let the wildlife have the rest. We don't have a choice really, but yeah, it's a good working partnership.
There's so many nice, very different feel to different parts of the Martineau Gardens. I mean, this is a relatively formal part, I'd say.
It is formal, yeah. And there are some formal parts. You do need it. People like it, but I love curves. I don't like straight edges. Yeah. Just and the fact that the diversity in the beds as well. It's not all one type of plant going in there. There are a few weeds in there. It's all about biodiversity. I mean, we live in a biodiversity world, you know, and it's got nature reflects it.
Yes. Yes. So here we have roses, and I don't know what this is. What is this?
That is quite called flormus. Splendid flower in it.
Yeah.
It smells a little bit like pineapple.
Oh, let's have a quick smell. Yeah, sort of a florally, sweet sort of, fruity sort of.
Again, the bees love that. That's just a herbaceous. That's just this year's growth, but it's got a lot of flowers on, as you can see.
Yes. I'll just do a quick scan back to show you.
And then we've got this beautiful, beautiful eucalyptus tree that gets rubbed smooth by people hugging it, and I always give it a hug. I do love it. And in the wet, all the colours come out when it's wet. All these greens and coppers and silvers. It looks fantastic. And pinks as well. Looks fantastic.
Yes. And actually, I don't know whether I should tell you this, but you know the bark of them. We've used it for fire lighting.
Yeah.
It's rich in
essential oils, yeah. It is. We had one here, a red one, and you could. I used to take branches off and light it and just go, because the essential oil was in the air, and it just ignites straight away.
Yeah.
And then we've got these lovely roses that go, look at me.
Yeah. Isn't that nice? Lovely. And this one, a bit of a scent on that as well. It smells. And we're walking through into an area that I think.
Getting a little bit wild and against the walls, it's fake as you walk through.
Yeah.
It's a, you know, it's quite an untamed little garden, I think.
Yeah.
And then we've got a lovely ginkgo here.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Do you want to say a little bit about this tree?
Okay. This has got, in Japan, it's a symbol of longevity, because this was the only thing that lived after they dropped the bombs on Hiroshima. This was the only thing that was living. Yeah, so it's a real symbol of longevity.
And it's a very ancient tree as well, isn't it?
Seriously ancient, yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know that about Hiroshima.
Yeah.
A really
beautiful.
unusual, distinctive leaf, isn't it?
It's very distinctive. And it looks like the maiden fern her leaf, and that's where it gets the name. But I love its Latin name, you know, Ginkgo biloba. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
And the hop is even better. That's Humulus lupulus. It's just such a good name for a, you know, for a beer producing plant. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I had a question about a plant by cross. Right. What is the flower by the roses? What is the flower by the roses called? First of all, and let's see, there's another question as well. Hopefully, could you repeat? I think she, probably the Let's go back here for you.
Oh, the phlomis. Yeah.
The phlomis, the yellow flower
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
Phlomis, yeah.
phlomis. If the chance to get that on the chat, I will do later on if Sarah doesn't beat me to it.
And this is going to look fantastic in a few weeks' time. This is spindleberry, and you can just see the seed heads forming. Outside they're going to be pink and they're going to be much bigger, and inside they're going to be orange. It's just a bonkers seed head. Beautiful. It's going to get as big as my thumb.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Spindleberry.
I'll look out for that next time I'm here.
And then unfortunately we're here at the wrong time of year, but we get underneath here we get a lot of toothwort, which is a parasitic flower. It's a plant, but it only flowers. It doesn't have any leaves.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. You can look them up online. It's called toothwort. They're absolutely fascinating. And I've got to show you the lovely cornice round here, because it's been giving me so much joy, this little tree has. There's one now, which I'm not clued into the second name of, but it is a cornice.
The flower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's this beautiful one underneath.
Aren't these lovely leaves on this?
This
tree
is
here?
a Turkish hazel.
A Turkish hazel.
Turkish hazel, yeah. Sorry, yeah, it's
that's
a
all right.
Turkish hazel.
Yeah, 'cause
Beautiful.
Yeah, they're quite large leaves, aren't they?
And the seeds are bonkers on it as well.
Ah.
Yeah. They're not like the ordinary hazel seeds. They've got kind of a curly, and they look like spiders.
Oh, right.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, this has given me so much pleasure.
All right, do you want to explain a little bit about this?
It's a cornus cusa. This isn't actually a flower, it's a bract. So it's all science, it's all a bit scientific, that lot, but it's still beautiful. When it first comes out, it's like a salmon pink. And man, from over the other side of the garden you can see it. And it's just a beautiful, right plant, right place.
Oh, lovely, yeah.
And that's what happens with people as well. So this is what happens when you put someone in the right environment. You can watch them grow, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And just to say, there are so many paths you can take going through Martineau Gardens. I haven't been down this part of Martineau. I've been here lots of times before. So yeah, it's very easy just to wander through and take whatever route you fancy. Now, there are groups running today at the moment, so we're not going to go into the buildings areas, but just briefly, do you want to explain a little bit about the buildings around here?
Okay. These buildings around here are, that's the office. We've got two unheated glass houses, and we tend to grow a lot of seeds and produce a lot of plants and grow stuff in there. And when it's cold and wet, you work in there. We have got another polytunnel around the back, which is actually a keyed house.
Yes.
So we propagate from all this nice area here. Because again, we had a lot of money from a very high-end perfume company who helped us out with the redesign and planting. So yeah, it was fantastic.
Do you want to say the name of the perfume company? So.
It was John Well.
Fantastic.
It was John Well.
But you get funding from a whole range of different sources, don't you,
Yeah.
to run this?
That has been the hardest. I've found the hardest thing really is doing the presentations for them. It's been really hard. It's quite. The Henry Smith Trust gave us quite a lot, but John Malone have been really good to us. They've been fantastic.
Yes, and
They've really encouraged what we do here, and they can see the good work we're doing.
yeah, and this building here is
That is the pavilion. That is an Edwardian sports changing room. It's beautiful.
isn't it?
Yeah. And it's just crying out to be used by people and
Yes.
groups.
And obviously been limited to how you can use it this year, but
That's limited us, but we still used it. We've made it safe, kept the numbers small, and worked with more groups. Kept the groups small, but worked with more groups.
yeah.
It's the solution.
Everywhere you look, there's more things being planted. This is a hawthorn hedge you're planting here.
Yeah, it's all new edging.
And I don't know, for people who haven't been, there might be a lot of people who see this who will recognise this area, so you have a lot of events in this area, but actually this has changed a lot recently, hasn't it?
It's changed a hell of a lot. We did have a grassed area, but we just couldn't keep replacing it because there's so many kids playing on it, and you can't just think, sorry mate, you can't play on the grass because that's just like, nah, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And the kids love it down here.
Yes.
I designed the first one with Kate Doubleday, the first shipwreck, and it was about a couple of months before Pirates of the Caribbean came out. Oh man, after that it was booked solid for months for kids' parties. It had a straw bale building, sedum roof, it was the part, it looked really good. This looks fantastic.
Yes, it still
amazing.
looks great. Yes.
And luckily, we don't have to do as many repairs on this as we did on the other one. It was quite hard.
Yes. And just briefly, there's an area through here.
There's two areas. There's a wildflower meadow there, which you can just have a quick look at.
Here is the wildflower meadow.
Oh,
So,
right, yeah.
bird flying out from there.
We seed bomb it, but this year we're going to give it a scrape and start again because it's worth it. We never know what's going to come up, and it's all trial and error.
Yeah.
And the volunteers like doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. So every year this is down to nothing,
Down to nothing.
and then planted, and by this time of year, look at it. It's amazing, isn't it?
But we can import stuff. Farmers are now giving away some of the meadow cuttings,
Yeah.
and they just come and chuck it on your area and see what comes up in spring.
I feel relieved just watching this live stream. Someone saying, when we get into the forest, I think we'll take a moment and have a listen to some of the noises and things in the forest. I think it's such a peaceful. Well, we're getting deeper and further away from the road now. Here is your fire pit.
So this is where the lads like to come and... Oh, this is where the volunteers like to come and chill out.
Yeah.
Yeah. On cold days we have a little fire. We may do some cooking. We've got the earth oven.
Yes. I'll just scan over there. There's the earth oven. Good for pizzas. Anything really, I suppose, isn't it?
They're good for anything, really. I've cooked for 160 people in one of those.
Ooh, wow. Must have been busy.
It was really hot. I'd lost a lot of weight by the time I finished.
And this is all totally accessible, all where we're walking. There's a couple of bits which would, if you're going down some of the wilder paths, it'll be harder.
It'd be a little bit harder, yeah.
But generally, it's all wheelchair accessible, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. With some reservations on really wet days, because it does get quite wet down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're trying our hardest.
Yes. And actually, there's a bit of clearing here. You've got a view into your neighbour's tennis club.
Oh yes.
Which you don't normally get. I don't think. I've not seen that.
No, we don't. But unfortunately, this tree came down over COVID.
Ah.
Yeah.
But being replaced very quickly by lots all around it.
Yeah, lots of other stuff coming up. But we always make use of it. So as you can see.
And actually, one thing I just thought about, there's you have a clay a pottery area, don't you? Is that right?
We used to have a clay oven here. Unfortunately, the people funding it pulled out, so it had to go, which is a real shame. The room is still used, but it's used as an office now. But we've got outdoor space, so we've been doing some green woodworking. So this is a little bench we've knocked up. It's not quite finished yet. We need to take some more off this bottom and shape the back bit a little bit more.
I saw a woodworking area as we were by the bike shed.
That's, again, we're doing green woodworking on there, so we're using the pole lathes, we're using shave horses. So it's just skills I've learned, and now we've got funding, we can start doing other stuff as well.
Yeah. This is part of that tree that's fallen down this year, I guess, then, is it?
Is, yeah.
So that's oak?
That's a limb. That's not the tree, that's just the limb, that is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That must be pretty heavy there. You won't be able to move that.
That's not going anywhere. That's staying there. And then we go deeper into... And as you can see, we have visitors popping in all the time and just walking around.
Yeah.
But as you can hear now, that I'm going to shut off for 5 minutes so you can hear the birds and you don't have to listen to me chuntering on.
Just respond, Nicola. Yes, this is definitely a peaceful and happy place. Very, very important. It is. I haven't been showing this, but you see volunteers dotted around all over the place, working, enjoying the space. It has such a nice atmosphere when you come to a place like this, and you really feel like it belongs to the volunteers, which I think is really important.
Well, that's what since I've been here, that's what I've tried to create. There's always been volunteers involved in decisions of what we plan, who we work with, how we work, when we work, and it works really well. It's, it's just work that they really enjoy, and as long as they feel part of it, and they own a little bit of ownership, it works. It works really, really well.
It does. Can I say you've got a few fans online now as well? It's been great to hear Stuart's enthusiasm. Stuart is amazing. Just to let you know.
Well, I do love the work. You know, one of my first jobs was with Sir Harry Pilkington, and it just pure by accident. There was a scally lad in Liverpool knocked his door, Lord Pilkington this was, and he gave me my first job, man, in horticulture, and I've never looked back since. And I also like people, and I left home at 15 and was out in the world. So, yeah, gives you some understanding of where people have been and what's happened in their life, you know. It really does help, you know. And having this to work with, this canvas, it's a dream. It does make my job really easy, because, you know, whose office looks like this, you know? What psychologist could set off? This is my office. You know, it's brilliant.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Are we going to go a little deeper?
Yeah, I'll take you on some bees and show you the bees. It's funny, the person that does all the education here, Juliet, we were walking around a couple of days ago and we were looking at stuff, and I went home and got one of my books out, and all the things that we've got growing in here are all listed in shady woodland. So we're getting it right all the time now.
Yes. Yeah. I just saw a speckled butterfly, speckled wood butterfly, is that what they're called, just over there? Flew over. I'm not going to get close enough to that, I don't think, today, to show you. But if I get a chance, I will show you some insects that are starting to come out. I think as the weather's sort of lifting a bit, I feel like the insects are starting to come out now, aren't they?
Oh, seriously. We get loads, and if you go around there, there's several little logs for the forest school. But under each one, it's all a different microclimate. The drier ones tend to have the worms under, and the wetter ones have the earwigs and stuff like that. So it's really nice to see.
Yeah. And we're actually right underneath one of the more ancient, going the wrong way, oaks here, aren't we?
Yeah. 200 years old, some of these aren't.
Yes.
And they're just massive.
And
but lovely.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah. Big trees like this, on a hot summer's day, with a breeze, they'll take up maybe 30 gallons of water a day.
30 gallons?
Seriously, yeah.
Wow.
Because they're like we sweat.
Yeah.
They transpire, and of course with the wind blowing across them as well, all that moisture's coming out the leaves, so they have to keep replacing it and pumping it up. It's called transpirational pull. So there's a bit of science for you.
Wow, I didn't know that. I haven't been focusing. There are trails that run through this space, and here is a little sign just to encourage people to look at some of the nature. We have been starting to see the bumblebees flying around. And just through here, sorry, I'm not going to go through here, but there's...
No, there are a lot of bees in there. You've got some bees. Because they've just put 2 lots in the past couple of days, so it's best not to be in the area for a few days. But I can see them from here.
Yes.
Working.
Yes, it's only if you get too close to the hives that there are any danger when they feel in some way threatened. Generally, bees are very safe and harmless, aren't they? And in fact, in terms of pollinating, obviously a big pollinator in this garden.
Serious, yeah. And again, this is nice because what kids get to go in the woods like this, where it starts off quite light and gets as dark as this, and and the smells as well. That's the one thing you guys aren't getting, are all the smells, which is a real shame.
Yeah. I love the way, I guess this is an ivy, is creeping all the way up and is coexisting. Or what's the expression? What's the word? The scientific
It is
word?
coexisting.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've got the right word.
It is coexisting. It is strangling it though. It's starting to do a bit of damage now. But I've cut pieces of that off, and made screens out of them because they kind of interlock and tight. So you have to cut them off, and you can put 3 pieces together and it looks like a nice screen, but it's organically made. It's not been tooled by a carpenter, it's been tooled by nature. It's fantastic. They look lovely. And of course when you get all the bark off and clean them up and then put a little bit of stain on it, the wood goes orange.
Does it? Oh, right.
Really nice colour.
Yeah, I'll show people. It is not very orange at the moment, I would say.
No. That's good covered in bark.
We're right at the far corner, I think, now, aren't we, from the entrance?
We are.
And this is incredible, I think. This is so lovely to walk into. A little circle. This is presumably the forest school area?
It is the forest school area, yeah.
And again, overlooked by these fabulous trees. And is that a bat boxes there as well?
Yeah. But
So,
you can see how going that shape is, you make a lovely fence. You know, if you could get that off and turn it into a fence, those lovely fishing boxes. Fantastic. It's just asking to be made into furniture, that is.
and this is presumably a dead tree that you've allowed the ivy to grow on. Just to show what it would do if you let it grow wild around.
We've got quite a few megaliths involved.
Yeah.
If they are, I mean, if that falls off, that's going to do some damage, but you've got to let something as well, because the ivy does support wildlife.
Yes. Oh, right, okay.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yes.
Because in the very dead of winter, that flowers, and on certain warm days, the bees will come out and use it and pot you. Yeah. And there are other insects that like it as well, so it's not just, there's moths as well, but there's not going to be very moths out in that when that flowers, but there are certain insects that use it.
Hello.
And we can walk up this path now, and that's takes us back to the top of the garden.
Yes, I think we're coming to the end of our time. I think we'll just get to the main buildings again, or before then, just to finish off our walk, which has been absolutely fantastic. And we were worried about the weather, weren't we, when we started?
Seriously,
but it feels like the sun is winning out. So if you're thinking about going for a walk today, yeah, come to Martineau Garden, or you know, around where you are locally. There's so many fabulous locations and places in Birmingham, and it's been such a great one of the opportunities of this last year has been discovering these places that are a lot more local and spending time in places that perhaps closer by.
This is an interesting little plant, and I'm not suggesting that you do this, but a long time ago this is sweet woodruff, and it usually has lovely white flowers, and if the flowers are used and steeped in apple juice, it's quite a mild sedative. Yeah.
Right, okay.
I'm not suggesting anybody uses it, but that's what it used to be. Cold pepper and a lot of old herbalists used to use it for.
Yes, and I suppose it is worth mentioning, just while we're talking about edible or non-edible things, when you're in a garden like this, it isn't all edible, is it?
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
There are some seriously poisonous plants.
Yeah.
We have some monks at the top of the garden, and if you touch that and you've got a little open wound, it's good night Vienna.
Yeah. Well, it's a safe garden, but you should not eat things
that you don't know. Yeah.
Unless you know what they are, or unless you have someone like Stewart with you who can tell you.
But this will grow naturally now. But it's the other thing they used to use it for as well is putting on the floors in the old cottages, and it used to smell really sweet. Yeah. because the flowers are particularly really got a nice odour, and in the damp woodland like this, you suddenly come across it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
and this is a nice activity to do at Martineau's or anywhere.
Oh yeah,
in Birmingham.
den building, the kids' parties are always in here, and there's always little bits and pieces for them to find, you know, insects and bugs.
Yes. And are you you're a qualified chainsaw?
I've got chainsaw, and I've done some green woodworking courses on the South Downs, which are fantastic. And I actually met the guy, what's his name? Ben? Oh, I can't remember his name now. And he built his house in the wood. And I think he got it for £1.16 an acre. And he was doing like charcoal burning on there, but then built this fantastic home. Massive place. Really clever guy. Yeah, really clever.
Okay, we're coming back around. I don't know whether Sarah is going to have a quick word on camera as well, just to explain a little bit about Martineau's for people.
Because there are stuff that I don't know what Sarah does.
There are a lot of comments on this as well. You'll have to have a look afterwards. A lot of appreciation. I love nature. Lovely to see people's appreciation of nature.
Now that I always tell the kids, you've got to smell this. Why do you have to smell it? I said, because it smells like beef and onion crisp. And they'll go, nah, it doesn't. Honestly, yes it does. Yeah, it does smell like. You have to.
Aha! And as if by magic. Hello.
Hi everybody.
Would you like to introduce yourself, Sarah?
Hello, I'm Sarah. I do the marketing communications here, and so I'm the person that's been popping all the comments in, and it's just been so lovely hearing everyone's enthusiasm and appreciation for this place. So yeah, do come down. We would love to see you. Just check on the website to see if there's anything special happening. So for example, one thing that's happening next week is the cricket, which means there's going to be road closures, so maybe don't visit next Tuesday because it will be really busy, and unfortunately our car park's closed on that day. But yeah, please just check on our website. We're on Facebook and Twitter as well. So.
Do you have to book, or can you just turn up?
No, generally speaking, if you're just coming as a small group, 3-4 people, you can just turn up. Not open on bank holidays. If you're bringing a large group, please give us a ring and we can talk you through what's happening.
Fantastic. Well, I think I can't really summarise any better than that, Sarah. You've done, that's great. It is one of my favourite places. I do love coming back to Martineau's, and I'm so pleased to be coming back to here after I feel like such a disrupted year.
Seriously disrupted,
Yeah. So, well, thank you very much, and thank you on behalf of all the people who've been watching as well. I think
it's good for people because we've all been living in this high anxiety kind of place, and it's just very similar things to what the soldiers suffer PTSD, where you like that on, you're looking in you, and being in this green space just grounds you down again. It just brings you ground, And it's just
It is. It's lovely. It really raises your spirits. Please, please do come and visit. I think. Well, thank you all very much for joining us on the walk, and I hope you come and enjoy Martineau soon.
Please come. Yeah, please come. It'd be really nice to see you.
Thank you. Bye bye.